Welcome back. We're talking to Roger Phillips and the issues he's had with government over his wheelchair access vehicles. He still has plans to go offshore. All right, Roger, what happens next week? You go to Bordeaux.
Yep.
The government representatives say, we like it, everything. They know all about it anyway. We want you to use this factory or that plant or whatever. I mean, is there a facility there for you to start building them in France?
Yeah, there's a lot of work going on in the background. We have a French distributor who is probably one of the larger ones in France, and he covers the whole region. And we also have the support of Skoda Europe for their infrastructure throughout Europe. They actually have one of their staff has been appointed to run the team, so to speak, of the marketing project for this vehicle. It's being released in Paris on the 9th for Europe, and the homework they've put into it is huge. When they became aware of the vehicle, they began investigating the grey power market in Europe, and they saw a huge opportunity. And the Aquitaine regional government of Bordeaux made a proposal to us that they had a ex-Ford factory that the government owned there that was sitting silent. They've got two major aerospace companies that have the ability to certify and produce the composite materials and everything else, that they have asked to partner us in a new joint venture for Europe based in Bordeaux. I'm going over there to complete those negotiations, and they've also offered us, I mean, there's roughly €4 million available as grant funding to establish the company in Europe.
The French government's prepared to give you the seed money.
Yeah. Because they understand there's a small window of opportunity in any market, and if you don't get it to market in that period of time, the market moves on. And this is the right time. We have the support of the whole basic European infrastructure network, from marketing to production. So it's too good a thing to toss out. We're going to Modena. Being in the centre of the supercar industry, you've got those resources for small volume jobbing and so on that support that whole industry. Modena is a very vibrant town and very interesting. Everybody works in the supercar industry, so what people might think is exotic anywhere else is just the norm.
It's run of the mill, isn't
daily
it?
Business, so that'll be fun. But
Roger, in the best of all possible worlds, all right, could you, if everything was approved here, could you manufacture here? Like, you'd get the vehicles, left-hand drive vehicles, they come by boat here, you manufacture them as wheelchair access vehicles, and they go back to Europe.
Yeah, we would probably take one step out of the process, because we've got to get volume, and the transit time and the stuff-ups that can occur in transport are probably too great for any volume. So what we were planning to do is we would set up a kit set manufacturing operation in New Zealand to protect our IP. I mean, there's world patents on this stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that we've got to keep secret. That production, those kit sets, would be sent to either France or Italy or wherever we've set up the assembly point, and that would be an assembly process. And that way we can get real volume. And we're talking a market in its first year that could be as high as 5,000 units in year one, and then multiply exponentially over that. So it would be a major plus. I mean, our little plants in little old Waiuku, if we had 5,000 kits coming out of there in year one, it would make quite a difference to the town.
It certainly would.
And it would. The other thing I like about it is it would engender a place for young guys and girls to go who aren't interested in farming. They're not interested in IP, in IT rather, and they don't want to be part of government and so on. They want to actually do nuts and bolts stuff like their dads did, and we can employ those people, and we can train up a whole new resource. And it's added another dimension to our structure within New Zealand, where we're not quite so reliant on dairying and logging and whatever grows out of the ground. We can actually prove that we can pick niche markets out of the world we can be very competitive in.
All right, the complaints that you received from the government bodies, do they meet the standards the West Australian government's set and the French and so forth?
Yes.
But here, they're seen as, no, that's perhaps, they shouldn't have been done that way or whatever.
Alistair, the problem is very simple. when you don't know what to do about something, and you know it could be an issue or problem, you throw sand in the air to multiply the problems. So we've had engineers in LWTA throwing sand in the air, say, oh, everything's wrong with the car. There's nothing wrong with any of it. It's built correctly, it's built to standards. There are no standards in New Zealand. They're trying to invent them to sort of do something about this vehicle.
There's been a long time problem with the used import industry.
Yeah, it's never become a major issue because nobody's manufactured in any volume in New Zealand before. And we're intending to, and we're using state-of-the-art technology that's common right throughout the automotive industry now. I mean, the cars that arrive from Skoda come with epoxy bonding. And they're concerned about the epoxy bonding, which they call glue, allowing the floor to fall out of the car. Well, we did some tests and we proved that it would take a press of 300 tonnes to press that bonding out of the car. The floor, they rated at 50 kilos. Well, if it was 50 kilos weight rating, you'd fall through it when you tried to walk into the car. When we showed them a test base with 1,300 kilos of cement bags sitting on the unsupported floor, they had to rethink and go away and try and do some sums. I mean, it was just basic incompetent engineering from people that didn't understand, don't know, and basically deal with minor problems with hot, souped up cars and so on for kids on New Zealand roads.
All right, Roger.
Sorry about that.
No, listen, we want to talk to you again.
Sure.
You head for Europe next week.
Yep.
All right, you're away a month,
Yep.
talking to the French and the Italians, then you're back.
Yeah, I'll be back the end of June, and I hope at that point we have actually got some action going on with land transport. And you've got to remember there's a difference between Low Volume
Sure.
Technical Association and Land Transport
yeah.
themselves. And Land Transport have actually been doing as much as they can to get this problem sorted. It's not a problem of their making, but they are responsible for it. By the time I get back, hopefully that's sorted. I mean, they've taken on our qualified consultants who are now advising them, so they know what they're doing. And
You've got a Professor of Engineering involved in this, haven't you?
yes, we've got Dr. Mark Batley, who's head of composite engineering at Auckland University. I mean, we do have the people in New Zealand that can sort this out, but this low volume certification operation we're dealing with wouldn't go near them. They wouldn't accept them. They wanted to stick it back with, you know, the mechanics that were working on hot rods and so on and so forth. And this was way out of the league. So we've now got that underway. But there was one other example of just mind-blowing ignorance. They wanted to import a consultant from Australia who was supposedly the crash test authority in Australia.
Oh, yeah, NCAP body.
NCAP body. And we passed this past our Australian ADR consultant. And he said, whoa, you can't do that. They have no body. There are no consultants for that organisation. Who's the guy's name? And we told him, and he said, he's not a consultant. He's a competitor of yours. And here was Land Transport flying a competitor out to New Zealand to inspect our vehicle, give him all our IP, so that he can turn around and say, nah, it's not any good because I don't want it coming to Australia and being a competitor, and taking our ideas and IP and intellectual property back to Australia and going into competition with us. I mean, that's how stupid a lot of this has been. And of course we had to jump on it. I had to get legal subpoenas in to stop them inspecting the vehicle and drag this stuff back and so on. And this upsets people. But it's actions that people are really doing stuff before they've put their brain in gear.
Right, let's leave it here for the moment. All right,
Alistair.
We'll get together in a month, 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, hopefully by then we may have cars back on the road.
Thanks for coming in, Roger.
Cheers, mate.
All the very
My
best
pleasure.
in France.
Thanks for